Christmas is so much fun. And now, it is time for me to head on another place that is warm and summer during Christmas. That's right. I'm going to be going now to Sydney, Australia. So Happy Elf, take me to Sydney, Australia. Here we go. Eeny, meeny, Thistlevilla. It's time, it's Australia. Hex, hex!
So tell me, Happy Elf, what does Australia Christmas looks like? Well, it is the seasonal opposite. You mean summer? Yup. How we're gonna celebrate Christmas there? You'll see.
Oh boy! Here I am in Sydney, Australia, where it's summer there. And while in America, it's winter there. Boy, it's sure to be back in this tropical clothing, just like I did in Hollywood earlier. Now, Elf, you got some plans? I'll be right back, Agent Mike. Okay, see you later. While the elf is in the North Pole, let's explore what's around Sydney, Australia during the holidays.
G'day, Australians. It's Christmas in Australia, and it's summer here, while in North America, it is winter there. Wow, can you imagine summer in Christmas time? And in Sydney, there's always nightlife in Christmas. You know, in England, they call Santa Father Christmas, while in Australia, they call him Santa Claus. It's the same as US and Canada. But hey, when you have fun in Australia, you get to live with the Christmas spirit too. Let's get back to Agent Mike in front of the Opera House.
Now that we're done, and my happy elf, what is the next holiday TV series to review? Right you are, Agent Mike. Now, have you ever heard of the 2006 animated TV series called SantApprentice? Well, if not, then I'm going to show you now with my elf's magic. Eeny, meeny, member miss, show us SantApprentice. Hex, hex!
This animated holiday TV series is about a young boy named Nicholas Barnesworth, who is Santa's apprentice. He lives with Santa Claus, Beatrice Lovejoy, Waldorf, the multicolored antler reindeer, and Humphrey, the chief elf, and Rufus, the little polar bear. Nicholas also has two of his best friends, the twin Inuit Eskimo siblings, young ones, Tim Tim and Knick Knack. Nicholas goes to school with them as they learn the basics and facts about the North Pole and such subjects, which of course Nicholas needs to know as he is on his way becoming a full-fledged Santa. After school, Nicholas sometimes plays with Tim Tim and Knick Knack or heads back to Santa's workshop to continue his apprenticeship training. Wow. This is how Nicholas loved Tim Tim and Knick Knack. They sometimes help Nicholas out of trouble, but sometimes they like having fun with him. In one episode where Nicholas goes to Australia with Humphrey and Waldorf to help his friend Michael at the orphanage to drive Miss Nettle away, as Nicholas is acting like a boarding school ghost to scare Miss Nettle away. Wow. It even had some part where Waldorf acts like a ghost and Miss Nettle is so frightened and she ran away from the orphanage and she was never seen again. Wow. They even got Miss G back. Michael thanks Nicholas as Nicholas told him to keep a secret of him being a Santa's apprentice. Wow, those Eskimos likes to see the reindeer and Santa takes off in the air. Santa teaches Nicholas how to use stardust wisely. One time, Tim Tim and Knick Knack were trapped, but Nicholas manages to free Tim Tim and Knick Knack, and they were so thankful. Here's a listen to Nicholas whistling Jingle Bells to pop the bubble. That bubble is made by Santa, and it's a different kind, not an ordinary one.
I love making toys. Don't ya? There you go. Doug from Up. He's so cute. And he's so fun. Now that's my job of making toys for the children all over the world.
In the months prior to next Christmas, Nicholas is trained on how to climb up chimneys like Santa. And during the test, he even builds his first toy, which is a teddy bear. And sometimes on tests, he got the first hat bell exam. And he also needs to learn how to laugh like Santa. Ho, ho, ho! And that puts the troubly elves to sleep. And on the golden reindeer exam, he goes with Waldorf to a tree, an old tree, to weave a basket. And Nicholas has to disappear and reappear perfectly like an elf with the help of his friend from the orphanage, Christopher, as instructed by Humphrey. He succeedingly got the elf certificate. Listen to Nicholas reciting the spell to clean things up.
Proceed!
Nicholas meets with his old friend from the orphanage, Marco, and to share Lucky Horse with him, and his friend from the orphanage, Brenda, who was the practical joker, that he helped her redeem herself to become a good girl, and she is nicer. And during the adoption day for the Rosier couple, they were looking for Nicholas, but instead targeted towards Nicholas's best friend Michael after Nicholas gives Michael some advice. And Michael happily lived with Mr. and Mrs. Rosiers, as Nicholas already had a family of Santa Claus and Beatrice Lovejoy. Aww, it's a real family, alright. Also, one of the episodes in this animated holiday series is Nicholas plays a video game in hopes to becoming the next Santa, and he already beats Santa and winning this video game. And also, Nicholas becomes immortal after meeting with the mammoth, and Santa is so delightful that Nicholas will never leave the North Pole to go back to the orphanage again. Nicholas also meets with Margaret from Canada and became good friends, as Margaret is truly a hockey fan. After all, what more fun could be enjoyable if Nicholas had a crush on her? But anyway, Margaret loves playing reindeer hockey with Nicholas, Tim Tim, and Knick Knack as her teammates, and they won, and Nicholas passed the test, receiving a golden pom-pom, and Margaret receives a reindeer hockey trophy in hopes to return to play again next year. After months and months of training to become the next Santa, Nicholas made a successful Christmas delivery with Tim Tim and Knick Knack after Santa got a broken leg. Amazingly, he successfully completes the delivery and receives his Christmas distribution diploma, passed with honors. And what a happy day for Nicholas, as he feels like that he's a full-fledged Santa. What I like about this animated holiday series is to what Gaumont Alphanim animation could do, and it is so beautifully enhanced with vibrant colors and such. After all, this is a perfect animated holiday TV series to watch it over and over again every year. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this 8.5. This holiday animated TV series is a must-see.
That SantApprentice sure is fun. What happens next, Agent Mike? Yes, it is. SantApprentice is sure awesome. And now, in this next holiday movie to review, is made in 2010 by Gaumont, which is based off from the animated series SantApprentice, and it is called Santa's Apprentice. Here it is!
It all started where Nicholas and his best friend Felix gazing at the department store window to see what Santa's workshop and the toy factory looks like. Together, they stare in the store window with wonder and awe, seeing what Christmas is all about. They reside at the children's orphanage, where the orphans live in Sydney, Australia. Nicholas managed to save the boy's toy bunny as he climbs up, thinking that Grincroc told Nicholas was a fear of heights, but ignored. Nicholas and Felix were happy together until one day, Felix gets adopted by his new parents that will take him to live in America. All his life, Nicholas's dream is to find the family that he ever wanted to live. Luckily, a new girl, little Beatrice, shows up and cheers Nicholas up on Christmas Eve, hoping that one day a lucky star would come true. At the North Pole, Santa and the Council of Retired Santas ask Santa Claus to appoint a new apprentice or the magic of Christmas will disappear forever. Luckily, they found one in Sydney, Australia, where it's a boy who is a pure of heart, and it is an orphan, and his name is Nicholas. They arrive at the orphanage in Sydney, Australia. At first, Humphrey the chief elf chooses Nicholas, but chooses Grincroc, but Santa knew Grincroc was not the chosen one, so Nicholas Barnesworth is the chosen one. So he takes Nicholas to the North Pole, and when he wakes up, he sees a teddy bear, which came to life as a pet, and names him Rufus. Wow, it is so fun. Santa shows Nicholas his workshop and teaches Nicholas everything he knows of how to become the next Santa. Meanwhile, in America, Felix and his new parents have problems that they couldn't afford to live in the house and move to a mobile home. Waldorf advises Nicholas with some important things, and Nicholas decides to go with the flow. And in the later months prior to next Christmas, Nicholas worked hard and trained well to become the next Santa, as previously mentioned in the animated series. Santa shows the magic ball, which is the magic of Christmas that will shrink and unshrink and make things happen at their will, even enlarging them. Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. And anyway, it is so great that Nicholas is able to complete his tasks. A day before the big night, Santa tested out the toy that Nicholas made, and it turns out to be a firecracker toy, which sets toys on fire, and Santa's beard was burnt, and it'll take years to grow back. Thankfully, Nicholas apologizes to Santa and set things right, as Beatrice gives Santa a new beard to look like Santa. And of course, Nicholas knew that Santa forgot the magic ball, so he goes to the portal of the workshop to go into Santa's sleigh and delivers the magic ball. And Santa knew that Nicholas advised Santa to remember by heart, or with it. They made a successful Christmas delivery together, until they finally come to Felix. Of course, Felix is so happy to see Nicholas again after a lot of successful Christmas delivery around the world, just like Santa Claus does once a year on Christmas Eve. Of course, my favorite is the New York part. But anyway, Nicholas gives Felix a new house, as Santa uses the magic ball after Nicholas said the magic word to make the house go bigger. And Felix and his new parents were so delightful, as Nicholas and Felix will always be the best of friends, as long as they are happy together. The final stop in Christmas delivery is Sydney, Australia. As Nicholas and Santa delivers presents under the Christmas tree at the orphanage, they are stopped by Inspector and his men and captures the imposter Santa after Grin Croc pointed it out. Nicholas and Grin Croc challenges each other to a duel for the magic ball, and he shrinks Mrs. Palmer and the kids to ornament size, including little Beatrice. Santa convinced the inspector and officers that he gave toys to them when they were kids, and they understand why Santa's heart was restored, and they release Santa. After challenging to a duel where the magic ball accidentally dropped, Santa retrieves it just in the nick of time and convinces Grin Croc to stop picking on and making fun of the other kids and learns to love once his parents are adopted him. Santa and Nicholas use the magic ball to restore Mrs. Palmer, the orphanage kids, Rufus, and little Beatrice back to normal size. And little Beatrice finally introduces to Nicholas and Rufus. And Nicholas is happy to be Santa's apprentice as little Beatrice is stowed to go with him. What I like about this animated holiday film is to what Gaumont Animation could do, as it is more or less of a prequel and remake based from the original series. The animated one, that is. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this animated film a 9. This animated film is also a must-see for everyone who loves Christmas.
It sure is fun enjoying Sydney, Australia, and for Nicholas becoming a Santa's apprentice. Well, he already is. So, Happy Elf, take me back to New York City. Eeny, meeny, gets the ritzy, time to get back to New York City. Hex! Oh yeah!
It's a good thing we're heading back to NYC, so we do not want to miss the Christmas tree lighting at Rockefeller Center. Don't you think so, Happy Elf? That's right. We're arriving just in time. Make way for landing. You got it.
Woo! Here I am, back in New York City. Now, let's continue some more holiday movies and TV specials, shall we? I'm inside of Macy's, New York City, the largest Macy's in the world. Have you ever heard of the tale called Yes, Virginia? Well, it is entitled Yes, Virginia, There is a Santa Claus, in the 1897 article from the New York Sun. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, as previously mentioned. So here's this 2009 holiday special, Yes, Virginia. Here it is.
It all started where a girl named Virginia OHanlon and her best friend Ollie builds a giant pop-up book for Santa Claus and holiday decorations. They were both amazed of how Virginia turned the page of the pop-up book, as Ollie really adored it well. Ollie thought he saw Santa in the streets of New York and decides that he and Virginia go to visit him. When they arrive in the center of New York City, they met with a scraggly Santa, which of course he was so funny at times, where Virginia and Ollie convinces him they were good and they needed answer if Santa Claus does exist. Virginia showed her friends a pop-up book about Christmas But Charlotte didn't believe in Virginia's words, thinking that Santa Claus is just infantile or baby stuff. So Virginia and Ollie goes to New York's library to find answers about Santa and how Santa Claus was named differently around the world. As Virginia looked through the Macy's department store window, she needed to find proof if Santa Claus does exist. So with the help of her father, she wrote a letter to the New York Sun explaining if Santa Claus does exist. If you see it in the sun, it's so. As Francis Church, the editorial reporter of the New York Sun, receives Virginia's letter, he doesn't believe in that, thinking it was just a fairy tale, but he needed the facts. So he tossed the letter in the trash. Virginia and Ollie gives the scraggly Santa a new Santa suit. And he is so thankful after he gave his old Santa suit to a lady to keep herself warm in the snow. As Charlotte receives Virginia's letter and shows it to Virginia and Scraggly Santa, Virginia sees it and she storms off. Why? She does not believe in it. And the Scraggly Santa shows Francis Church to convince to write an article if Santa Claus does exist. Then he thought for a while and he knew the model, if you see it in the sun is so, and wrote an article about it. That is, Santa Claus does exist, and he quoted, "Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus." Virginia was so happy that Santa Claus does exist after she angrily threw the pop-up book away. Victorian Santa showed up and gives Virginia a new pop-up book, and Virginia and Ollie were so delighted to see Santa. What I like about this animated holiday special is that it is an upgrade from the old-time animated program about Yes, Virginia. It is so awesome. I really, really love how Starz Animation could make this animated special a holly jolly one. And I really, really love New York City, its old-time Victorian setting. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this holiday special 9.2. This animated holiday special is a must-see for everyone who loves Christmas and loves Virginia OHanlon.
One of the best places in New York City that I really, 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 really love is dogs. New York City dogs, that is. Of course, there is a holiday film that has a dog from New York and a dog from the jungle who has experience with humans, and a boy called Ari. But we'll get to that later. But first, here's the boy moving in from the country to New York City with his dog, Ramona. His name is Leo. And this next holiday special, which is animated, that I'm going to be reviewing is Little Spirit, Christmas in New York. Have a look! And you'll be cheering up for the holidays when you're with a dog.
It all started when these two girls saying goodbye to their mother as they're on their way to their grandmother's by taxicab. Oh, I like how the girl seeing New York from outside the taxicab, just like any other source that is. But anyway, while the taxi is caught in a traffic jam, the taxicab driver tells these two girls the story about Leo and his dog Ramona. Leo and his dog Ramona is about to move to New York City to live with his mother to get back together again after she found a job in New York City. Isn't it a beautiful sight to see? Wow, that cab driver takes Leo to a new place in New York, right next to Central Park. Isn't it so delightful? At first, Leo dislikes living in New York, but his father convinces him that he'll get used to it. So Leo takes his dog Ramona, followed by his parents, to Central Park to have some fun playing in the snow, as one of the kids decided to recruit Leo to join in reinforcements for snowball fighting. Suddenly, a bully kid named Dylan decided to teach Leo, the new kid, a lesson. But of course, Ramona barks at Dylan and scares Dylan away with numerous barks, and she sees a squirrel and chases them out. And of course, Leo and his parents didn't know that Ramona has gone missing. So they posted a missing dog photos around New York, and Leo really wished that he want his dog Ramona back to his life. So the little spirit appeared from the snow globe and decides to help Leo find his missing dog Ramona. And of course, they knew they have to wait until the right moment to get into the Christmas tree. And when the time is right, Leo and the little spirit goes into the Christmas tree and teleports to another place around New York. Geez, that teleportation thing reminds me of a PlayStation 2 video game, Kaya Dark Lineage, as she teleports to another place in the world. Wow, when they arrive back at Central Park, Leo retraces the steps and finds Ramona's collar and leash, and Dylan's hat and phone. And Leo decides to give it back to Dylan, and hoping to give a flyer to find his missing dog Ramona. Along the way, she met with a knitting lady who gives Leo a scarf as a Christmas present, and in hopes that she wishes Leo good luck finding his missing dog. As Ramona goes into Macy's, and she decides to find something to rest for the night, or something like that. Leo gives Dylan's hat and phone back to Dylan, and he is so thankful. As Leo and the little spirit get separated, Leo meets with other New York City inhabitants and follows the advice to look everywhere around New York City to find Ramona, and gives the flyers to every inhabitant of New York. Even Leo gives a flyer to Santa to find the missing dog Ramona. Along the way, Ramona gets out of Macy's after she eats the security guard's food, and she gets into the Christmas tree as the guards try to stop Ramona, but the Christmas tree is knocking over and hits the police car. When Leo and the little spirit reunite and went back to his place, he finds Ramona in Macy's and decides to go there with the little spirit, and his parents were notified that Ramona has been found. And on top of the Christmas tree, Leo waved to the inhabitants of New York City that they knew that Leo had found something there. And along the way, Leo convinced the police officer to release Ramona, but he refuses, and Dylan stops the police car and tells him to give him back his dog, and so is the other New York City inhabitants. And the police agrees that it is Christmas, the charges is dropped, and Ramona is free. And at long last, Leo and Ramona had been reunited and back together again as all the New York City residents cheer for them. And so as Leo's parents arrive and cheer for them as well, and Leo thanked the little spirit. And these two girls arrive at grandmother's safe and sound after the car was caught in the traffic jam of construction. What I like about this animated holiday special is that it really touched my heart and gives out the moral of the story is whenever you lose something, search everywhere around and seek help. You never know what you'll find. And this is so heartwarming. I recommend it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this animated film 8.7. If you really, really love dogs and you love New York City so much, this animated film or special is definitely a must-see to check this out every Christmas.
Here I am in Rockefeller Plaza, where the Today Show is hosted at the NBC News building, and I'm standing in front of the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Plaza. So, I heard that the performances are done. The countdown's coming. Alright, Happy Elf, let's light up the Christmas tree. Christmas tree magic alive!
Every year, the Christmas tree has been brought to Rockefeller Plaza from up north, from different places, US, Canada, or other countries. And once a year, it delivers peace, joy, and happiness to everyone around the world. As this global holiday reminds you of Christmas trees that originated from Germany, the evergreen trees, that is. This Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center will always share the memories of Christmas with loving peace and loving joy and goodwill to all men and women around the world.
Hang tight, y'all. We'll be right back with the exciting conclusion of Christmas Cavalcade 2 Global Holiday.
Coming up next, an exciting conclusion for a movie review of Christmas in New York from Mondo TV. And then we'll be back at Santa's Enchanted Forest and have a Canadian guest to review the Magic Hockey Skates. And a finale, which will be the Magic Snowflake. The last holiday film to review as Agent Mike's movie TV show Revewer Christmas Cavalcade 2 Global Holiday comes right back.